How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. You probably already know this, but rich people know Schedule C like the back of their hand. Tax forms is like something you just want to get it over with and as far away as possible. Today is not going to be a deep dive into tax forms and tax laws or anything because it's quite complicated. I would defer specific information to your tax advisor. Today is more of an overview. I just want to get you guys to know what kind of tax write-offs you can do on your Schedule C. It's like the whole net worth thing I talk about. Once you start tracking your net worth starts going up. If you have deductible expenses, you start thinking, okay, I can spend this amount here and actually deduct it. So you can tailor your spending towards your business expenses and get the maximum write-off. This video is brought to you by MooMoo, the commission-free trading app. Open up an account and deposit $100 and you can get a lot of freebies, including 5 free shares of stock, $100 worth of cash rewards you can redeem towards purchasing $1,000 worth of stock, and 1 free share of C3.ai, which right now is worth over $43 in itself. If you deposit $1,000, you can get 10 free additional shares of stock. Deposit $5,000, you can get either 1 free share of Tesla or Google stock. Check out my affiliate link down in the video description below. Here is the Schedule C itself. Profit or loss from business, Schedule C, Form 1040. The very beginning is just your business information. Did you materially participate in it? This is a very important factor. The IRS has 7 tests to see if you materially participated in this business. Now, if you're working and you get a W-2 and then let's say you have a little side gig and you're like, oh, I want to write in a Schedule C. Well, first you have to determine if it's a hobby or if it's an actual business. Let me just say that even though they write out all the rules, there's a little bit of room for interpretation. One of the tests is if you've worked on this business for over 500 hours that year. So if you do it every single week, roughly part-time, then you can sort of consider it a business. But this is not the only test. You actually have to conduct it like a business. It has to do with careful accounting. If you have profits that's coming in, you write all that down. If you have any kind of expenses, you write all that down as well. Versus if you're conducting it like a hobby, you don't keep any kind of records. You're just doing it for your own fun. And most importantly, you're not really doing it for profit or any kind of intention for profit. Let's say you sell on eBay recreationally and you just kind of offload some of your old stuff. This is not a business, it's a hobby. So let's say you buy a camera for $500 and then you sell it off for $300. You actually took a loss of $200. I mean, 500 hours is one of the tests. So if you ever get audited, you better be able to prove that you're running this thing like a business. There are more nuances to this, but most of the time you kind of know yourself if it's run like a business or not. If you intend to make a profit, for example, you have the sole purpose of buying capital equipment in order to generate profits. And all this capital equipment obviously is not for yourself. Maybe you're buying like packaging equipment, you're setting up shop, you're buying machinery. So many times I personally think it's pretty obvious if you're running it like a business or not. But if there is any kind of uncertainty, you can go on the IRS website and you can try to differentiate if it's a hobby or a business through their document. The first part over here is income. That's easy. You just add up all the profits that you get. One way that I like to think about all this is when you're working at a job and you get a salary, you might be taking losses when you're selling on eBay and you're like, oh, I wish I can have a Schedule C and then write off all these losses from the profits. The thing is, if you have no profits at all, you cannot write off these losses. Try to have a side hustle that actually generates profit. I highly suggest doing this because it diversifies you from your job income in case there's any kind of job loss. You still have some kind of stream coming in. The bigger a stream, the better. And sometimes if the volume of the stream is at least half of your wage income, then you might start thinking, hey, maybe this hobby thing is getting pretty serious. You can actually quit your job and go full on 100% into your side hustle. Once you have a couple $1,000s of profits, you can think about, okay, how can I actually spend all this to write down the profits? Therefore, you have your deductions. And here's the cream of the crop in Schedule C. As a self-employed person, I look at this part 2, expenses, line item 8 through 27. I look at it as money. All of this is free money. This is your best friend. It gives so much back. Everything that you can legally put here, you don't have to pay taxes on. If you can somehow find the ability to squeeze your everyday expenses into this business expense. Now, I'm not saying cheat or anything, right? I'm saying you have to find a way to make your business expense overlap with your personal expenses, sort of take over your personal expenses. You got advertising. If you advertise on Google AdWords, not very interesting here because obviously this is obviously a business expense. Car and truck expenses, maintenance costs and things. For your business, of course, you have to be conducting business activities when you consider these types of expenses. Commissions and fees, these are things that you pay out. For example, let's say you're selling something and you have to pay a commission to someone else. Contract labor, I don't really use this. The depletion and Section 179 expense deduction. Section 179 is really great. There's different kinds of depreciation models and you have to keep track of how you depreciate your capital expenses. But in the end, it lands in this item number 13, and this gets deducted from your profits. So let's say you made $3,000 worth of profits and you actually can decide where you put your expenses. So let's say you keep really good books and you know how much profits you make. You can go, well, I have this much profit. Let me make some capital expenses and reinvest towards my business. And all of a sudden, based on your expenses, you made $0. Therefore, you pay zero in taxes. Employee benefit programs, if you're a sole proprietor or a single LLC person, you don't have employees. So there's no benefit programs here. If you have a recording session and you have to buy insurance for the crew that is on site, all of that gets deducted. In other words, most of the expenses that you have to put towards generating your income, all of this becomes deductible. Let's say you have business loans and you're paying interest. Well, all of that interest, and this can get deducted in your Schedule C as well. Mortgages count as well if the entire place is for your business. You got legal and professional services. Maybe you hire someone to make an ad for you, or you hire a lawyer. All of those are deductible. Office expenses, by the time I'm reading all of this, you might go, wow, basically almost everything is deductible. Copy paper, you buy a printer, you got pension, profit sharing plan, rent or lease. If you rent a very expensive lens or camera or like a giant lawnmower or something, all of that is deductible as well. Repairs and maintenance towards your business equipment. You got travel and meals over here. These are most interesting because it can get overlap with your personal life. If you travel solely for pleasure, then you have to foot the entire bill. You have to pay taxes on it, 25, 30%. But if you turn it into a business on, let's say, Instagram, and you can post social media posts and you actually earn money through this. So then when you travel, you can write off these travel expenses because you're doing that in order to generate more content on your Instagram. If you are a food blogger, you take pictures, you take videos of the food, you can write off those meals as well. There's a little gotcha here. For the year 2021 and 2022, you can actually write off 100% of your business meals. But for 2023, you can only do 50% of your business meals. There's also utilities expensed as part of your business. There's wages that you pay your employees, and then there's other expenses. What's highly interesting here, if you want to write off your home, it's important to have dedicated work areas. You just kind of fence this off and say, this is work only. In trying to expense your home, you actually have to say how many square foot you're using for business purposes. So obviously the larger area that you dedicate towards business use, the better. And I had a question about health insurance. The insurance premiums is tax deductible. So you see in my expenses, I had like $400 some. Every year, this amounts to about $5,000. So this gets knocked off straight off of the profits. No taxes paid on it whatsoever. In terms of travel, let's say for me, right, I just went to Taiwan and Japan and I'm very, very interested in going there. But every which way, I'm actually making videos as I go. Then you can start writing these expenses off. I tailored this video just for people that are working at a salary job, thinking about going self-employment. These deductibles actually more than pays for itself. Even though you have to pay for your own health insurance, it's very expensive. On top of that, you have to pay for self-employment tax. But because you have such a powerful Schedule C that you can deduct a lot of things off of, you end up having to not pay as much taxes if you know how to really use these deductions. Once you start using the Schedule C for a while, you start to go, well, I have this and this to do for personal reasons, and then maybe you don't want to do it. You just want to do like all business related stuff. If your entire life is business related, well, all your expenses becomes tax deductible. I hope this video helps you guys out on getting more on top of your side hustles, trying to make a profit in it, and then in turn you can deduct a whole bunch of things on your Schedule C. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.